So hello everyone, I'm Silver. It is actually Monday, January 15th. I just want to say a quick hello to all new viewers and a welcome back to all returning viewers. If you tuned in last time and decided to come back, I really do appreciate it. Anyway, how have you all been? It's been great. It's been a busy month, well, busy couple weeks here in my little corner of the world. As you see, it's very irregular podcast. So I've got lots to talk about, some new segments, and some switching things up this time around. So I should probably get started, right? So let me just get your drink of choice, your knitting, and away we go. So today I'm actually just going to be drinking some Mountain Dew, because as you do. Anyway, so I have here today my sister in all things knitting, Emily, aka Mercury.
Hey, thanks, Silver. Hello to all you dreamers out there, and thanks for letting me invade your ears for the time being. I'll be joining in with a cup of PG Tips decaf black tea as we record, because I can't have caffeine. So, as you probably know, I was one of the partners with Silver on Silver's Knitted Treats. But as of this month, we've decided to shut it down. We've both got too much going on to be able to look after it properly. So I've moved my focus back onto my personal website, Mercurial Knits.
And I've actually decided to put all of my time and efforts into this podcast because I seem to enjoy it a lot more. Obviously, I like to talk. So we do both thank you so much for your support over the years. All that will remain of Silver's Knit Treats is actually in our Ravelry store, which Mercury and I will still be selling patterns through. And just so you know, I'm going to be putting up a large, I have this in stock, come buy it at like discounted rates. We'll get that up hopefully before Wednesday when this goes live.
That would be great. And for our patterns as well, we'd like to announce one that we actually wrote together. We've been working on it for quite some time, and I'm so excited that it's finally ready.
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like a slacker, but yes, it's actually our Tetris blanket pattern. I'm going to show you a picture of it. You're going to love it in post-production. So you can actually start downloading it as of Wednesday the 17th, hopefully
It
right
ought to
after
be up
this
there.
goes live.
But yeah, this thing took me nearly 2 years to knit and sew it together. The sewing kind of took longer because I was procrastinating. But it also was due to our trial and error on making the pattern as best as it could be. So now that we figured out all the hard parts, it shouldn't take any of you anywhere near as long.
Exactly, and we've made it so much easier for you to piece it together too. We've given you even directions on how to piece it together, and so if you haven't done it before, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and we've got pictures of basically every single step so you can really see, oh, that's how that goes together.
Exactly, which is perfect. Let's move on to some of our favorite things. I have a little bit of a randomness. There's a lot of stuff that goes on at work that kind of tickles my fancy.
Oh, yeah.
The one that's come in handy recently is what we're calling hashtag special snowflakes. Most likely yesterday we had somebody that decided to eat the candles that come on one of our arrangements.
Are you serious?
I wish I was kidding. I wish
Candles.
I was kidding. Candles, and they're marked on our website and on the product itself that they're real fucking candles.
Why are they eating candles?
I don't know. It's as bad as the ice packs that come with some of our arrangements too.
Don't tell me people eat those.
People have eaten that thinking it's a brick of chocolate. I don't understand.
Okay, I can even understand if you're a little confused, but then after a bite, surely,
Exactly. And then they're calling their call center and be like, was I supposed to eat this? My first advice is please call to see just call and get mental help.
Yeah.
But I can't say that.
Please call the hospital now.
Exactly. That's usually my first advice. They're like, can I talk to a supervisor? Because, of course, by that time, the person that gets the phone call is laughing too fucking hard. Yeah. Sorry, the swears are going to happen rampant throughout this episode, guys. Sorry.
Oops.
If you're listening with kids, I I should have mentioned that. Anyway, the other things, I've got a bunch of things that came in the mail because I've been bad over the past couple weeks. But anyway, the first category is actually what they're called. They're called Ann Tudor stitch markers. They're glass and they're amazing. I got a bunch for the Knit to Zero KL. If anyone remembers that and is playing the home game.
I'm going to be signing up.
I know, right? These two are awesome. There was one that's called the Sheep Flock number 2, is what she calls them. They're actually very, very cute. I cannot wait. I'll have to show you a photo because seeing is believing, right?
Definitely.
And then the other ones that are coming up are the Cupcake Stitch Markers in a 4-pack. So they're different colors and they're amazing. And since, as you do when you're buying things for the KAL, you also want to get something for yourself because, Ann Tudor is a genius.
Who can blame you?
I know. I got double VU sheep. They're actually different color sheep. They're amazing to look at.
Yay!
Some cat stitch markers in a 4-pack. Also some Hearts of the Rainbow color markers. And as you do, you have to have a few F-bomb stitch markers because why not?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you get that project that you have to do, but you don't really want to do.
Yeah. Exactly. And as you do, I finally did get my Wink shipment in. They're all equally awesome, if you're all wondering. Basically, that's a subscription to get many different wines in the mail. There was a Chami Pindosh. I think that's how you pronounce that. Yeah.
I'm not really a wine drinker, so I can't really help you out there. Sorry.
I'm getting better, but pronunciations are still hard. There's also the Funk Zone Rosé. There's a Ruza Zinfandel Rosé, which I cannot wait to open, guys. The Funk Zone, I can tell you, is awesome. We're pretty much done with it, MTI and I.
Well, nice. That's what you're
Yeah.
supposed to do with wine.
Well, yeah, we got a few still left over from previous months, but anyway. And the last one that came in was the Selected Works Chardonnay, which I haven't quite tried yet. But the bottle is so pretty that I'm like, I don't want it. I want to keep the bottle on my shelf for a while. That's the only thing stopping me. But anyway, the next thing that we had come in was our Blue Moon Fiber Arts shipment. A lot of Socks that Rock Lightweight that have been kind of back in November that finally showed up. One that was called Don't Rain on my craft parade.
That is such a cute name.
Isn't it awesome? And I don't know if you heard, there's a couple of back episodes where I talk about the yarn hoarder and my feelings on that. And then there was this whole hashtag that happened on Instagram because of it. And I was like, okay. And then somebody put out a yarn to embrace that. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
And then the second one that came in is actually nice purple tones. It's actually the picture that's usually seen in my title card for the beginning of the episodes. It's called KMBFLA. It stands for something very naughty that that she doesn't even explain anymore on her website. So, and then the last one that came in is the Candy Cane Tipsy yarn because I've been looking for something that was Christmassy for next year. So,
well, great.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that since I am participating in a KAL for the Skinniest Shawl knitting thing through Craftsy, I did need to get a kit, so I ended up getting obviously the pattern itself, which I'll put a picture of in because it's so pretty, and you couldn't blame me for going down that rabbit hole.
Hey, I never do.
That's true, but some amongst us, and I don't name names, MDI, totes did. But yeah, so the yarn that I chose on that one was a deep magenta. There's a burgundy in there. The petal, it's an antique lace white, and a lavender heather.
That really sounds gorgeous.
I know, a little bit of red, a little bit of purple, some white in there. It's a pretty good mix, and you can see later on what happens because as you start it right away. And then the other thing that the last shipment, of course, because being bad and all, came from Webs directly. They have their yearly sales, and because you gotta participate. since I've been in the sweater place recently, I decided I wanted to get a Dream in Color BFL Blueface Luster Silk DK.
Ooh.
Their pinky colorway. I'm not really a pink girl, and wearing pink is kind of like not me at all. But I saw that color and I was like, I know the perfect project to do with that.
I think you'll rock the pink, though.
I'm thinking so too. I'm hoping because that usually the closest pink I get is like purples.
Well, yeah,
We'll
I
see
know,
how
but
that
still.
goes. I'm going outside my comfort zone, so that's a good start.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did have another quantity for another sweater out of Barocco Vintage DK out of the pumpkin colorway because pumpkin spice and me go way back.
Heck yeah. It's always pumpkin time.
Exactly, it's never gonna stop. Hi, Joanna. I know you're the same way. Anyway, so I did also get a couple of pairs of size 5, which is a 3.75 needles from Carbons. One is a 10-inch so that I can work on that blanket of mine that you've probably seen pictures of, as well as a couple of size 16-inch circulars as well, because I needed to finish up a project with them, so I needed them.
Well, yeah.
Well, because as you do. So, what has come your way recently?
Okay, this really is random, and I don't know if anyone will know what the heck I'm talking about, but there's this thing they sell in the UK called piccalilli, and it's like a pickle mixed with mustard. And I know that probably sounds horrible to a lot of people, but I really love it.
Actually sounds really good. You're making me hungry right now.
It's like, okay, so it's like it has the cucumbers in it, and it has cauliflower and stuff like that too, and it's all in this mustard vinegar mix, and I put it on crackers and I eat it with crackers and cheese, and it's freaking good.
You're gonna bring some across the pond when you come visit next, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
It's everyone I talk to, they're like, ew, mustard, and it's like, no, I love mustard, but yeah.
Well, pickles and mustard, you got me right there.
Oh, I'm glad. And then I've also been kind of bad on the enabling front too. I am obsessed with Wool Warehouse, which is a big yarn website here in the UK. They have free shipping if your order is 25 pounds or over. So I really take advantage of that.
Well, exactly. It's kind of like the webs, but in the UK.
Yeah,
essentially.
They are so good. And I actually just got an order because when I saw your 10-stitch blanket, I thought maybe I should do a 10-stitch blanket. So I got some Karen Simply Soft in this grape color. It's like a grape ombre. It's all different shades of purple. It's so pretty.
That sounds nice.
And then to make it up to the 25 pounds so I could get my free shipping, I got 2 skeins of Drops Nepal in this really light blue to make myself a hat. So that's what I do.
Well, yeah, because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're going to take a quick breather before we move on to the next sections. Alrighty, so let us move on to our FOs, because I know, I finished something, which is very rare to do in 2 weeks, but like I mentioned before, I had to get a pair of 16-inch circulars so I could finish the ribbing on the top of the sweater, which I call the Lovely Friendship Travels. If anyone remembers, it is the Friendship Road pattern by Corey Eisenberg. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I am so sorry, Corey. I know you don't listen, but just in case.
Well.
She's one of the co-writers of the Minnesota 52 book that I reviewed a couple episodes ago.
All right.
I did use a colorway called Love You to Pieces on the Dramaturg base by Leading Men Fiber Arts. I don't know if anyone has probably heard me say this before, but it does kind of look like you're putting Reese's Pieces into warm milk.
It does look like that, though. When I was looking at the photos, it's so cute. I really like it.
You would think that's kind of a gross thing, but that's the only thing I could think of to explain what the colorway looks like.
Yeah, but I like milk. I like Reese's Pieces. There's nothing wrong with this.
Exactly. And I've only done that once. That's the sad part. I've only done that particular thing once. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of exactly what it looks like. But yeah, so this was actually done on a US 6 and a US 5 in various cord lengths on my Marbles needles. So, yay.
Yay! Yeah.
Did you end up finishing anything this weekend?
I certainly have not.
Oh,
I would love to, but Not yet. I'm hoping to. I mean, I hope to have at least something this month, if not, one or two things. So let's hope there's at least one, if not two.
Exactly. Well, that's fine. Like I said, the fact that I was able to finish something up until that last little bit of ribbing and then just kind of halted for a couple weeks should tell you how my knitting goes
Well,
sometimes.
yeah.
But yeah, so I did end up finishing half of something, what we call a hoe in the biz,
Uh-oh, a
as you do.
hoe.
Oh, heyo. But as if anyone knows, I have been participating in the January Desert Misted Dye Works KO that's going on. I am using the 7 Year Itch colorway because this month, if anyone doesn't know this, it was my and MTI's anniversary. So 7 Year Itch, 7
Yay!
years. There you go. I am using a Toe Up Socks with a Difference by Wendy D. Johnson. It's super awesome. I finished this particular pattern, the first sock, in like 2 weeks, not even over a
Nice.
month. So I'm hoping the other one goes as fast. I'm using a size US 1 on an Ada sock rockets needles that I just bought. Wow. Let me tell you, my first time using the size 1, and it went faster than I thought it would. So,
That's fantastic.
yeah. And now the bag that I'm using is actually what I'm calling the knitting sheep tot because they're actually knitting.
That's so cute.
Of course, I don't remember who it's by. Of course, it's right next to me too, and I'm like looking. I'm like, I'm too lazy, too lazy to look. So sorry.
It's okay.
Podcast fail. So yeah, no new socks for you on your end, right?
No, I'm still working on something that was for your knit along that I didn't finish in time because I'm terrible. Um, but we'll talk about
No, it's
that
more like you
when
got
we
stuff
get to
going on.
the we'll talk about that when we get to the works in progress, I think.
I think so too. Alrighty, just gonna take a quick breather. So let's move on to works in progress. I have been, well, let's just put it this way. I have had a little bit of startosis. It's the easiest way to put that. Or stylitis, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's
Um,
like it's one of the better diseases to have, I gotta say.
it definitely is. It definitely is. I mean, yes, it makes me itchy with the number of whips that I have currently, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so the first new thing that I have on the needles is one called It's Easy Being Green. Using stitch markers by Ann Tudor, obviously, because as you do, when you get something new. Um, the pattern I'm using is the Flax by Tin Can Knits. I'm actually working on it right now. I have about 2 or 3 rows past the sleeve separation. It's
Nice.
pretty amazing. Yeah. I cannot wait. But anyway, I'm using a Miss Babs Yowza colorway called Sea Teal. It was definitely an MTI choice.
So pretty. I love teal.
I told him, I'm like, okay, pick your color. What do you want for a sweater? And we're so close in sizes, it's just so much easier to use like the same pattern
Yeah.
for my first for him, especially if we think he's gonna wear it, and if he doesn't wear it, then I can have it. So
Well, he
yeah,
better wear it. I'll come beat
I
him up.
know, right?
Okay,
I'll tell him
like
that later.
I won't really beat him up, but like I might
Yeah, we know.
make him duel me in Rock Band.
Oh, that's worse, I think. But yeah, so I'm using a size US 8, which is a 5.0 millimeter marbles needles. Well, I was using a 16-inch when I wrote up the notes there. They are now on a 32-inch circulars, and the US 6 was for the ribbing. It's supposed to be housed in a purple TARDIS bag, which is technically true, but the ball of yarn is actually in a yarn bowl on the floor right now.
Well, that happens too.
Well, yeah, because it's pretty and I want to use it.
Yep.
So, the second thing that I did start was called We've Got Mars on the Horizon. A little bit of background. That particular is a song lyric, a Rush song lyric.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So basically, just Google the song lyrics and you'll get the song name, that kind of thing. But anyway, I digress. I'm doing the worsted boxy by Joji Locatelli. So it's worked from the bottom up. So I'm kind of in stockinette land where I'm just like, I can knit in the round for forever. So if I get bored of MDIs, I can move on to mine if I want.
Well, that's nice.
um, but this one is also being done in a Miss Babs Yowza colorway of Seductress. So it is a very awesome red. Like, you can't see it from any photo that I've tried to take of this thing. It's so super red, and I cannot wait to wear it.
That's awesome.
I haven't worn a lot of red recently, but that's the color I want. I'm moving toward, I think.
We're getting into red this year.
Exactly. I'm going to make it happen. But yeah, so I do have that one also on a US Marbles needle. It was on the 32-inch circulars, but, you know, I have one needle that's 32 inches. So it's on a Susan Bates metal needle now. I don't even know how old that needle is. It's crinkly and...
Well, don't worry about it. It still works.
It works. It does its job. I know. But that is actually being housed in the blue TARDIS bag, because that's how I distinguish between my two sweater size bags. But that bag is actually by the Knitting Broomstick. So, yes. Speaking of that, something is coming from the Knitting Broomstick.
Ooh.
You did not hear that from me.
I'll immediately forget it.
Exactly. Oh, wait, we're recording.
No. I just have to not ever listen to this. Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Nothing is broken. Nothing is ruined. It's okay. That's a teaser for something later on in the episode. But anyway, I did also finish a hat for myself called 13 is Here, Get Her Queen. In case you were all wondering, the 13th Doctor Kit Kat hat, of course, must go together.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I had this nice, awesome colorway of Police Box by Lorna's Laces Shepherd Worsted, and as you do, you've got to put those two together.
Well, yeah, of course.
Exactly, and my favorite hat nowadays has been the Kit Kat hat, so yay me. And I've been meaning to make one for myself that wasn't like a billion colors. Mm-hmm. I love this. Anyway, that one is being done on a US 6, also a marble 16-inch cable needle. It's a 4.0 millimeter, if you're wondering, because we can't use US sizes anymore by itself. Anyway.
I'm sorry, you got to appeal to the UK viewers over here.
No, it's not just that. It's more of a matter of I feel bad not mentioning the millimeter sizes, because people are like, well, what if I want to knit that? I'm like, yeah, because...
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that change.
You're welcome.
Sorry, we're using a Google Doc if anyone's wondering. But yeah, that is actually being housed in a zip-up bag at the moment. So, all right. So the thing I alluded to earlier, the last thing that I finished, is what I'm just simply calling the Skinniest Shawl. I cannot pronounce that.
Shawl.
It's got, like, the shawl part, yeah. I think I'm actually mispronouncing, but anyway, well, it's a KAL that was, it's being hosted on Craftsy by the Geek Grocery Girls. Wow, words. Anyway, the pattern itself is called the Skinniest Shawl by Carolyn Waynes. I think they pronounced her last name too. Wow, I'll make sure to write it down below so that way you guys can see that. I'm using, like I mentioned, 5 different colors of Cloudborne yarn. This yarn is super soft and squishy. At one point, I had to wrestle it out from underneath Mario when it came in the mail, because he was sitting on it.
Obviously, it's the best bed.
Exactly. Well, look, usually I have to have him sniff the wool before it, gets be put away. Otherwise, he gets a little grouchy that something came in the mail and he didn't get to sniff it or play with it.
He has to give his approval.
Exactly. He sat on this one. I was surprised. I'm like, okay, must be good. This one is actually also being housed in a Ziploc bag because yeah, I'm out of bags, guys. 40 projects, something's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah.
But this is also a US 9, which is a 5.5 millimeter needle. Thank you for that change and add
You're
on that.
welcome.
Because I had no idea. I was like, oh, I was going to have to like dig through and like get it from the needle itself. It's great. But that is actually a 40-inch Chigu red lace needles for now until it gets a little bit bigger. Oh, love this shawl, guys. All right, so besides the new things, I did kind of give a couple of the older projects a little bit of love, mostly because I'm trying to finish things.
Woohoo! Finishing things.
Exactly. The first one is the one I'm calling "No Bunny Parties Like an Angel" on acid. So yeah, I did a lot of work on this. The pattern is called "Party on My Needles" by Jorge Locatelli. Now, I have 3 colorways I'm using on this one. The first one is the No Maker's House Gnome Little Bunny Fufu. And the second one is the Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper on the Showstopper base, what they call Acid Trip. It's nice and purple. I love it. As the contrast to the crazy other yarn, which is the Nerd Girl Yarns Bounce and Stomp, which she calls the Teenage Mutant Ninja Angel.
I see your
reference.
name there.
Exactly. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I have these 3 colors in this pattern now. How am I going to put this all together? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, they must. They must go together. But anyway, this is actually going. Oh, I'm using a size 4 3.5 millimeter needle on the bag I'm using, which is too small for the project as of right now. As you can see in the picture that I'll put up here, it's freaking. I'm almost to the end of the thing, guys.
Aw.
I can't believe how fast it has gone since the last time we spoke. But yeah, the Beauty and the Beast stained glass bag that I have by Molly Klein Designs. All right, and what I was working on quite a bit past couple days, trying to get it ready for picture worthy, is what I call okay, I give. It's a sock yarn blanket, because everyone's seen that everywhere, and everyone's done one, and I'm like, all right, fine, I give. I'm doing one, because I've got 4 or 5 bags worth of scraps from socks over the past year alone. Never mind like the past 10 years that I've been knitting.
Well then, this is a good place to use it.
Exactly. So if anyone hasn't seen on my Ravelry page, I'm doing that 10-stitch blanket by Frankie Brown. I'm actually doing 21 stitches because 21 stitches is so much more superior. And also some of the yarn weights that I have are a little bit lighter than a basic fingering, so I need to like make sure they're thick enough.
Well, yeah,
they can stay the same. Yeah. But I do have a list, and this list has been updated as I go on to each color, for the most part, on my Ravelry page. So if you want to see them all, they're there now, and various colors, and it's kind of cray-cray. So I have been using a size US 5, 3.75. I recently moved it to a Carbon Straight 10-inch needles that I just got. They're amazing.
Nice.
Mostly because when I'm knitting this thing, besides the corner, I can use DPNs for the corner, but the rest of it, I pick up all of the stitches along the side of the blanket in one go. So that way I can just keep knitting if I'm out in public and I don't have to worry about picking up stitches. Because as you have all figured out, I am horrible and garbage at picking up stitches. So if I do it all in one go... Well, if I pick it up all in one go, I feel, okay, I've had enough practice with this one skill at once.
Yeah.
So, this one is actually, right now, it's just kind of floating about because the bag that I'm using is a, like, pink bag from Walmart from years ago. And I'm just like, why put it in a bag while I'm recording? I'm going to be working on it later anyway. But before it was actually being housed in my Blue TARDIS bag, so I'm going to, like... highlight that as misinformation, not as directions. Yes. All right. So, what have you been working on?
Sorry, I lost my train of thought from just the misinformation. I've actually just started working on a new fingerless mitts pattern because that's all I ever design, really. More and more fingerless mitts. So I'm starting a new pattern. It's going to be released later this month. I'm hoping by like the 25th, but I'll let you know. It's going to have a thumb gusset as opposed to just a slit for the thumb. And it's going to be a 2-color mitt. Ooh, but right now, all I'm working with is Garn Studio Drops Big Merino in olive, which I love the Drops Big Merino because it's so soft.
And squishy too.
Oh yes, and I'm currently making that on size US 5 3.75 millimeter Takumi bamboo DPNs. So I love my double pointed needles. I almost always use that for my small things like my fingerless mitts.
Yeah, and me, I'm just like, Cirques.
Yep.
Give me Cirques where possible.
I mean, I use them too, and like I have them when I do socks and stuff. But so for older. I mean, like, it sounds weird to say older because this is the first time I've been on your podcast, but, older cast-ons anyway. I started making a poncho, which I'm calling the Sea and Sand poncho. The pattern is actually hooded poncho number 40506 by Lion Brand Yarn. I'm making
very
this...
original, I'm telling you. Very original name.
But
anyway.
It's got 3 colors. I'm making it for my brother-in-law. I was originally going to be his Christmas present, but, it's kind of past Christmas now, so... He'll get it when he gets it, I guess. He got other Christmas presents, so it's okay.
Right. I mean, and anyone that has a knitter in their life should understand by now things don't happen with
definitely.
That's just, Ever.
But yeah, so the yarn I'm using for that is Robin Super Chunky, which is an acrylic yarn, in Apple, which is a bright green, Sea Green, which is a teal, and Mustard, as we were talking about before, a bright yellow mustard color. And I'm knitting that up on size US 15 10 millimeter Denise interchangeable circular needles.
Yeah.
And I've got another poncho on the go, too, which I'm calling the 4 poncho, which I'll explain a little bit later when we get into the what you're watching. But
okay.
The pattern is the Madison poncho by Lorna Miser. And I'm using Hayfield Bonus Super Chunky in neon, this gorgeous purple-blue color. And I'm using US 13 9 millimeter Denise interchangeable circular needles on that, too.
Oh, nice. See, I am kind of in awe of you being able to use interchangeable needles, because every time I try to use interchangeable needles, even when I am tightening it to all heck and back, I cannot get those things to stay put.
Aww. I bought these.
Maybe it just needs more practice.
I bought these a while ago, and I think it might be the way I hold them, because these ones like click in place, and like the way I hold my needles, I kind of like balance them, like either like on my chest or on my stomach. I know it sounds kind of strange, but like I'm leaning back as I knit, and that's how I knit. So it kind of doesn't twist them too much. So I think that might be why they actually work for me.
Oh, that, and I'm too uptight. I stick up my butt.
No.
I knit, so.
But the other thing is, like, I've tried to use the Addy click interchangeable, and I had a lot harder time with them, and it's because of how I balance my knitting. So because you push them in, and then when you push them in, like I do when I'm knitting, they come out. So those don't really work for me as well.
Gotcha. So it might be the needles I'm trying. Yeah, I might have to get a couple sets. But
yeah.
See if that's the case.
So I still have 2 other projects to talk about. One was the one I mentioned before, those socks for the SDL Java Along that I didn't finish. They're called Layered Caramel Latte, and the pattern is, of course, Caramel Latte Socks by CC Allman. And I love them. I don't put a lot of time into stuff I'm making for myself. I know that seems kind of weird, but I'm like, I gotta make something for someone else. I gotta make something for someone else.
Exactly. Those seem to go a lot faster, I think.
Yeah.
Things you're working on for yourself.
So I'm knitting those up in Garn Studio Drops Delight, which is a superwash actually, no, it's not superwash, but it is a sock yarn. And it's called Plum Beige Heather Print. And to me, it looks like when you actually have like a layered latte, like it's got the black for the coffee, the kind of brown beigey color for like the caramel, and like a white color for the milk on top of the latte. So I really like that. I've been knitting those on a US 0 2 millimeter Addy Sock Wonder fixed needles, and they are faster. It's just that I am so slow on my own projects.
Well, that's fine. You said US 0, and I'm like, oh, I have a long way to go then to bulletproof socks. I'm like shuddering at the ones, never mind the zeros.
Oh, you'll eventually get there. I know it.
I'm hoping.
And then the final thing is a scarf that I've been working on for like a year for my husband. I've barely done anything on it because it's double knit. It's I'm calling it the Ultramarine scarf, and the pattern is Warhammer double knit scarf by Emma Littlehales. So it actually has like the logo of the Space Marines, which is like a double-headed Aquila eagle, and it's a double knit. But I also drew the Ultramarines logo, which is like a fancy-looking U. And I'm going to be doing that on the scarf as well. I just haven't gotten to that part yet. But I did get the first eagle, so
Okay.
that's more Garn Studio drops because I love them and they're not very expensive. That's Charisma Superwash in bright blue, dark mustard, and white. And there we go with my mustard again. I'm just really into mustard this week, I guess.
It's fine.
And,
I ain't judging nothing.
And I'm knitting that on size US 5, 3.75 millimeter. Boy, straight needles, like the first needles that you get at Walmart when you're first learning to knit. That's what I'm using.
Exactly. You know, sometimes they're the easiest to find, too, if you need replacements in a hurry.
Yeah, true.
Let's be fair. Alrighty. Let us go on to... So let's introduce something blue. So if you haven't been playing the home game, this is the section that I basically talk about anything that has gone wonky. Pretty much every project I have touched in the past 2 weeks, I've had something that I've had to take back. Numbers that don't match up. Yeah, but it happens. I mean, after 20-something years of knitting, I'm used to it. It happens. Like, and then I'm moving on.
Yeah.
But it looks like you had something listed here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I decided I wanted to like cast on a nice summer shawl for myself this summer. So I was like, I found this pattern called 0-1108 Blue Paris by Drops Design. I was like, oh, this is gorgeous. I'm going to call it Beige Paris because I'm knitting it in beige, you see. But like... Right. The yarn is this beautiful Garn Studio Drops brushed alpaca silk. It is gorgeous. It's like really fluffy and light, but I actually kind of find it a nightmare to work with because I find it really hard to see my stitches.
Oh, no.
And this shawl is like all lace. So every time I put it down, I get really lost as to where I am, even though I have been keeping count and like I literally keep a text file with where I am in each pattern and stuff, but I still am messing it up or miscounting. And it's just like, what am I doing? So yeah, I'm going to have to frog it.
Well, I mean, I find with even when I'm working on lace patterns, I'm not only do I have the instructions line by line, but I also have like stitch counters and like everything you could possibly think, and I still mess up. So
yeah. So
I think everyone does at some point or another.
That was on USA 5mm Chow Gu. I don't know how you say that.
I'm saying Chow Gu like
Chow
all the
Gu.
time because because I have a little bit of Italian background, so Chow.
Yeah.
Gu. Why not? But it's not really Italian, so whatevs.
But it was on Chow Gu Twist Red Lace interchangeable needles, and it will be again, but yeah, I need to frog it and start over, I think.
Just to make sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's pretty, though. Like,
Thank
you. Guys
you.
can see from the photos, like, this is amazing. Like, I can't.
Well, see,
I
like,
have not been in that same headspace to work on anything lace, so, yeah.
I had taken that, like, when it was going pretty well, and then, like, I stopped, and then, like, I came back 3 months later and started, and it's like, oh, it looks kind of off. So, yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. So, what you reading and listening to? Let's start off with what are we listening to?
Woo!
Specifically, I have actually been listening to a lot of the Wine and Crime podcast. I got to about 8 episodes behind. Sorry, ladies. So I've been binge listening to them a lot. I pretty much cackle like a good member of their witchy coven. I'm telling you, like, I'm sitting there laughing through what was it, Evil Twins episode just now.
Oh God.
I'm sitting here laughing hysterically because they have these like most random cases they talk about as they're drunk as skunks. It's great. I love it. Like they get, well, I mean not really drunk, but like you can hear the slight progression of drunkenness throughout the course of the episode.
They've loosened up a bit.
Exactly. And like the cases that you talk about, they're a little bit uncomfortable sometimes because, at one point they had a topic called necrophilia, and like they
Ew.
were laughing throughout the whole freaking thing because, as you do, to get through such an awful topic,
Well,
they
yeah.
have to both get drunk and they have to laugh through it. And like, so a lot of like the random jokes that you pick up throughout the course of their episodes, you're like, okay, now I can understand why those jokes happen and why they have lasted because of that reason.
Yeah, definitely.
And I recently also have found the official Outlander podcast. So I'm listening to each episode of season 1 and actually rewatching the episodes right before
Oh,
I listen
cool.
to it. So that way I learn, okay, I'm like, oh, I remember this and why they're talking about this. Basically, they're giving away the secret sauce of how things are made. It's like, that's kind of my jam and how I'm looking at certain scenes and I'm like, I wonder how they did this. Well, the director and the costume designer sometimes join and talk about things like that. Other than that, I've been listening to kind of whatever's in the car, going back and forth to work. So,
Well, yeah.
how about you?
I have been really, really becoming obsessed with the band Genesis. And like, yes, before everyone makes fun of me, yes, the Phil Collins band, yeah. They're more than that, okay? So...
Hey, no judgments. Like, I grew
Thank
up
you.
on Genesis.
Exactly. I love them. Like, even as a kid, I'd always loved the song That's All, which is kind of actually weird to like as a kid because it's really bitter. But I always liked it. And I was like, I wonder what the video is like for this. So I looked up the video on YouTube. And then I just got sucked into that black hole of watching suggested videos on YouTube. And I just kept watching and watching and watching. It's like, wow, I really like Genesis. So I actually got myself a greatest hits CD. And I love it. I listen to it constantly. And for Christmas, my in-laws actually got me what many people consider to be one of Genesis's greatest albums, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And that's when Peter Gabriel was still singing with them before Phil was the lead singer.
Right. Yeah.
And like, it's so good. And I need more Genesis. Like, I am just
I know, you
all
almost wish there
Genesis.
was more.
Yeah.
Genesis all the time.
Exactly. So I'm heading down that road. I know I'm going down it, but yeah, that's what's going on.
It's fine. I mean, did you hear how many times I mentioned Hamilton, like, the past 4 or 5 episodes?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, I need to give it a break.
I'm glad you understand me, though.
I get it. Trust me, I get it. You kidding how many times I listened to Beauty and the Beast soundtrack before I actually even watched the movie?
No.
Like, MJ was like, for real? You haven't even gone to see the movie yet. What are you doing? But yeah, so it's been kind of a light reading couple weeks. I have been reading a lot. Been challenging myself to read at least 15 minutes a day.
Nice.
A lot of the time it's fluff.
Well, hey.
It's kind of mood you're in,
It's still reading.
Exactly. And in that vein, though, I have finished a lot of fluff books. How about you, though?
I actually just finished reading Jingo by Terry Pratchett. It's one of the Discworld books. My mother-in-law absolutely loves the entire Discworld series. She has all of the books. So I've slowly been borrowing them one at a time from her, like in the 6 years that I've been in England. So it's just kind of like, okay, let's get this one and this one.
Exactly. Like, you get that mindset of, like, I want to read the whole series.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to. It's just, it's taking me a while. But hey, I'm getting there.
Well, yeah, that's all that matters. I mean, did you see how many times I've, like, restarted different book series? Just put them down for, like, a year.
Oh, yeah.
Case in point, the Janet Ivakovich numbers books.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't. After a while, I'm like, okay, I kind of like her and I like the character. I can't even with her right now. I just can't with her right now. But yeah, well, I'm currently actually listening to Voyager by Diana Gabaldon. So that's an ongoing series too. The Voyager book is like 40 hours roughly.
Oh, wow.
And I just got to the 10 and a half, almost 11 hour mark last night.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm gonna make sure that I keep on this 15 minutes a day challenge and like supersede that. And 4 hours of Voyager go by last night. But anyway, so what are you currently reading?
I've been reading Father Brown, 53 Stories by G.K. Chesterton. It's like a crime drama series. There's actually a show on the BBC right now that's kind of based on these. And like, I really like that. So I thought, oh, I should read the originals. And I do like it, but like, they're all short stories. So like I read one or two and then I put it down and then I don't think about it for a few weeks. And it's like, oh yeah, I should keep reading this. So yeah, but I am enjoying it. He's a priest and he solves like mysteries. So there's a lot of like crime and stuff. And like you're talking with the Wine and Crime podcast. Now, I mean, this is just fake,
Yeah.
but I love crime stories and procedurals and stuff. Like I always loved the Cat Who books by Lillian Jackson Braun. And I loved like watching Lewis on TV, another detective show, and Inspector Morse, and all sorts of that kind of thing. Like I used to love to watch Murder She Wrote when I was a kid with my mom. It's like maybe maybe a kid shouldn't be watching that, but I did. So
Because why not?
yeah,
Because we're totally the boss of you.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, yeah, definitely. You have that up on your Goodreads now, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find the book because it does sound really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have been. Let's just put it this way. Yeah, I have been watching a lot of TV. As I mentioned above, a lot of Outlander season 1. So I'm gonna watch through the rest of season 1, and I think I'm gonna try to binge watch season 2 and 3, kind of all together, and then watch the podcast. Or listen to the podcast. Like we'll play that by ear. But anyway, I've also been watching Supernatural.
Nice.
I kind of binge watched season 6, probably in 3 days, and then watched up to exactly, which is rare for me. Sometimes I get bored after like a couple episodes. I'm like, whatever. But the first 7 or 8 seasons, I'm there with them. But after that, I felt like it kind of jumped the shark, so I kind of slowed down on how much I watch in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, now that I have mentioned that and given away all that secret stuff, right? I've actually also been listening to episode 3 of season 7, so that's currently where I'm at. How about you? What have you been watching?
My husband and I actually started watching the 1960s Mission Impossible TV show.
Ooh.
We literally just finished season 1 and like I love it. It's so good. I mean, like I said, crime and stuff before too. So spies, And like I don't get this, but I have a huge crush on Martin Landau, and it's like Martin Landau is probably the least attractive guy on the entire show, but it's like that's who I like zooming in, But
right. Yeah.
I don't know. He plays this like costume guy, so like he's always dressing up as other people and infiltrating stuff. So he's really cool. So maybe that's part of it. And the other thing I've been watching, like I mentioned in our work in progress section, I've been watching an anime called Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. It's a giant robot anime because I'm that kind of nerd. And the 4 poncho that I mentioned before, I'm actually making it so that it looks like the character for Murasame, who's on the show. She wears a poncho just like it. And I was like, I need to be her. So she's also the reason I had my hair cut really short and dyed it like teal, even though it's growing out now. But I think I probably will get it cut short and dyed again when I actually have the poncho finished so I can cosplay because, yeah.
That would be awesome. I cannot wait to see that.
Thank you.
But yeah, so as everyone who follows my Instagram feed knows, I have been watching a few movies as well.
Yeah.
We play a little bit of a game. Guess the movie in like random places. like the first one, I definitely watched episodes 1 through 6 of Star Wars. The last 4 I didn't. 4, 5, and 6 I didn't.
Right.
Anything on because but anyway, the first 3, the first title card was the very end of that opening sequence.
Oh, nice.
People were like, I know my Star Wars, like the last line of the text. Oh, that was amazing. I couldn't believe how quickly that person got that answer. Like, whoa.
I wish I was awake for those. I'm usually not.
I know. I mean, it's kind of hard because like I'm usually watching it to like relax.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Or if it's like Or if it's in the middle of the day and they're just like, you know what? Forget doing anything productive. I want to watch a movie.
But hey, it's good other people get a chance to actually like win stuff instead of just me, because yeah, you know,
It's not playing favorites at
yeah.
all. I try not to, let me tell you. But anyway, so what have you been watching?
Actually, I just went to the movies yesterday and saw a really depressing film. Uh,
Oh.
it was really good. It was just called A Woman's Life, and it was all in French. And it's just about this woman in like the 1800s, and it's basically about how like she starts out having this really nice life, and then everything screws her over, like bit by bit. And it's just like the entire story is how her life just totally sucks. Like, that's seriously
Like,
it.
and is
Yeah.
it all in French and like, do you have like the subtitles
Yeah, it
underneath,
had
or?
subtitles because I actually don't speak French. So if I didn't have the subtitles, I would have been totally lost. So thankfully, it was subtitled. Yeah,
Exactly.
like I'm on like the cusp of hipsterdom. Like, okay, because like my husband and I went out. We got Japanese food for lunch, and then we went and watched a depressing French movie. It's like, yeah, we're kind of hipsters, aren't we? you know.
That's okay. I mean, honestly, like I did take a couple semesters of Italian, but watching "It's a Beautiful Life" or "Life is
Oh yeah, Life is
La Vida
Beautiful.
Bella,"
Yeah,
yeah, I love that movie.
it is great.
Don't understand half of the Italian that's in there, but I made my mom watch it. And she's like, "This is such a great movie.
Yeah.
Why did you make me watch it? Because now you got me crying."
Aw.
She hates movies that I suggest that make her cry. She's like, "Why? It's a good movie, but you're making me cry."
Sometimes it's how you know it's a good movie, though.
I know exactly, and that was actually exactly my response. I'm like, well, now you know. I'm not kidding when I say it's a good movie.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah. She's like every time I suggest a movie to her, she's like, it's gonna make me cry. I don't want to watch it if it's gonna make me cry. I'm like, Mom,
Aw.
just trust. But anyway, I have been, like I mentioned before, watching a lot of podcasts on the YouTube channels.
Nice.
A lot, yeah. It seemed like in one week, every one of the podcasters that I watch constantly decided we're gonna put up an hour plus episode because, as you do, like I was recording my episode and I think everyone was recording theirs because you had the Stalking and Zombies go up, which they do maybe every couple weeks or so,
Yeah.
and their episode title is "Send Warmth." Was awesome because they're from Minnesota.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's like the coldest part of our country sometimes.
God, hasn't it been like -40 Fahrenheit or something insane?
Exactly. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, my -9 felt cold. I am so sorry for
Yeah.
y'all right now.
Jeez.
Here, have some of my warmth.
And here I am freezing over here when it's like 25, you know?
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's one different climates, too.
Uh,
But yeah, so the Nick Girls came back with an episode. Their titles for their episodes like crack me up every time. I couldn't even tell you what last week's was because it was just so funny. I was like, okay, I need to find out how this episode title happened. Because usually they get it from whatever they're like talking about, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like, either Lala or Leslie will say something extremely funny, and they'll be like, that's the episode title. Or like sometimes my episode titles are just like, okay, I'm gonna plan it out ahead of time, and sometimes I'm just like, you know what? That happened. I want that.
well, it's good to
Or,
go
like,
with
as-
whatever you want, like even if you have it planned, if something comes up, maybe that's better.
Exactly. Or I'm listening, or I'm like just listening to things going on in the call center behind me, and I'm like, oh, that needs to be a title. Like, just like next week, I don't know. I'm thinking hashtag special snowflakes might be an actual title on my episode at some point because that discussion alone was hysterical. Anyway, so the Geek Girls Knit podcast, I was kind of a little behind on. Sorry, CC. Mostly because I do like to binge watch their episodes after, because she actually also watches Outlander and tends to do the spoiler alert thing.
Oh, right, yeah.
So as I'm catching up on things, I'm like, I don't want to know until I've watched it myself. But yeah, so Knit the Books came back too. They hardly ever record. Actually, it had been close to 3 months. So It was cool.
Right.
They basically talk about the books that they're reading, and usually that they're reading together, as well as what they're knitting on. It's pretty awesome. There's a mother daughter duo.
Right.
The Grocery Girls and Cece both had live episodes on YouTube. Let me tell you, that was a whole fiasco for me because I usually use Internet Explorer to watch YouTube on.
Oh, right.
Problem is that the Internet Explorer I have, that version, yeah, it's kind of
Oh,
old.
dear. Yeah.
So the plugins or whatever for the that YouTube uses to go live, I'm like, really? Okay, I guess I'll get Chrome on my computer or
Mm.
whatever. And then of course, my computer don't like that no much.
Oh, no.
But yeah, and either way, I always do tend to watch like random podcasts too, to be honest. I have a whole list of them that I've watched and on the page somewhere. I should link to that. I'm gonna link to that.
Yeah, I need to join in because, like, I literally only listen to yours, and then, like, even then I get behind because I'm not very good at actually, like, stopping and being like, hey, I should actually listen to Silver's new episodes. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, and honestly, too, a lot of the time, the reason that you'll find me listening to an episode or watching an episode of something is mostly as background fodder for whatever I'm working on. If I'm getting disappointed or pissed off at a
Yeah.
project, I'm like, I need something to distract me. Okay, let's put this one on and then work my way through that problem on the project. So,
Well, it makes sense.
yeah, it works.
I should give it a go.
I was gonna say, yeah, it might help you with the lace thing. I would say avoid the wine and crime podcast while you're doing the lace patterning because you would definitely lose your place on that one. Yeah, but yeah, a lot of the podcasters I've mentioned in what I'm listening to are all on iTunes,
Right, okay.
and the other ones are on YouTube. That's how I kind of distinguish them. But anyway. So I am pretty social. You can find me on a Ravelry board, which is Silver Streamland Podcast. I am Silver Luna 2112 there on Ravelry. On Facebook, the podcast can be found at facebook.com/Silver Streamland. On Instagram, I am both Silver Streets and Silver Streamland. Use the first one because I'm on that a lot more. On Twitter, I use @Silver's Knitting. I do tend to read through all messages as soon as I possibly can. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, please feel free to email me directly at silverstreamland@gmail.com. And as always, anything that we can talk about and anything at all, really, essentially, can be found on silversdreamlandpodcast.com.
And if you liked what I had to say, you can check out what I'm doing on Ravelry. I'm Mercury Zelda on there. And as I stated before, my Instagram is also Mercury Zelda, but my Twitter is @MercurialKnits. And you can also find all my patterns on mercurialknits.com. And that will include our new Tetris blanket pattern.
Woohoo! So yes, we have both been blathering on for a long time, but that's fine. I know your time is absolutely valuable, and I know Mercury is actually going to go cook dinner eventually.
Well, you know.
So I do appreciate everyone sticking around to the very end of the episode.
Yes, and I mean, thank you for listening to this totally random person you don't even know as well.
Oh. So yes, please feel free to join in any discussion, or you can start your own there on the Silver Streamland Ravelry board. I don't bite, I promise, despite what y'all have heard about me.
I mean, you know, it would only be consensually. She wouldn't just randomly bite you. Well, you wouldn't.
That's true. So anyway, this is deteriorating fast. Please stay tuned for episode 39 on February the 7th. Until next time, happy crafting, everyone.
Happy crafting!
Hey. Oh my god, that really did deteriorate so quick.